Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our webcast this evening. My name's Brian Murray, the Director of Travel here at AAA, and I'm delighted you're going to join us this evening for a program that we have with Oceania Cruises. I would like to let you know that you're all in listen-only mode. If you do have questions, please feel free to type them in the question panel, and we will entertain those questions at the end of the program. In addition, I wanted to let everybody know, as a thank you for joining us this evening, AAA Western and Central New York is offering attendees $100 savings on any new booking for a 2021 or 2022 Oceania cruise. New booking between the 9th of June and the 23rd of June. So, you know, we've had a long pause with travel and cruising, and we're so excited to get back to the high seas, and we have a wonderful guest this evening that's going to tell us about all the wonderful new things that are going on at Oceania, and that is Terry Vello, the Director of Sales with Oceania. Terry, thanks so much for joining us this evening.
It's my pleasure to be with you, Brian, and all the club members from AAA Western and Central. Thank you for inviting me. So we'll get started. All righty. Okay, so first of all, I want to make sure that everybody is healthy and well. I'm sorry that I cannot see you, but this is how these webcasts work, and I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy getting reintroduced to Oceania Cruises. We've been in business for 18 plus years. I'm with the company 17 and a half years, and I've worked for a few other cruise lines that you're probably extremely familiar with, both luxury lines as well as mass market, but I have never worked for a cruise line as long as I have for this company or any other cruise line in the world right now. I've even been on the retail side. I've been a travel advisor also. So what I want for you to do tonight is to remember the future. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? What an interesting idea. Remember what it was like to travel and to cruise. And I hope that some of you have cruised with us in the past and you're looking forward to a really great cruise experience with us moving forward. So again, we want you to put on your thinking caps and pack your metaphysical bags and get ready to talk to your travel advisor at AAA Western and Central. And in fact, along with looking ahead to the future, we do have a new ship that I would like to introduce you to. I'm told that we don't have audio for certain reasons, but I'm going to play the video so you will be able to see it, and I'll talk over this a little bit. In fact, I'm going to mute it because I can hear it on my end. We will be adding to our family another daughter, so to speak. We have 6 ships in the fleet right now, and we're going to add Vista in spring of 2023. Yes, in the midst of all of this craziness that we've been experiencing and all the sadness as well, we've been looking forward to growing our family. And the reason they chose the name Vista was because it has so much promise and potential to be able to see over the horizon and over everything that we've been experiencing these last 15 or so months. And Vista was also a name that was suggested not just by a travel advisor in the United States, but by our officers and our onboard team. And they thought it was a really great idea. This will have the same culinary focus as our other 6 girls in the fleet. And we have a lot of teasers out there. We're not giving too much information. We're going to open the books for brand new reservations as of September, so just a few more months. And she will be approximately holding about 1,200 guests. So this will be a smaller ship. Again, lots of restaurants because we are a foodie oriented line, and we never charge for those specialty restaurants. We will continue to work with Jacques Pepin, our master chef and executive culinary director, as well as our director of culinary enrichment, Chef Kathy Kelly, and Dawn Perignon. There's lots of wonderful foodie things that we do on Oceania. In fact, there will be another sister added to the fleet in 2025. So there'll be another girl added in there. But, you know, let's talk about the elephant that's in the room. There's been a lot of stuff that's going on. And I always say, you know, let's not talk too much about what we've been going through these last 15 or so months. But if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about our health and safety protocol, we did create something called the safety panel. And it's also considered, gosh, there's another name. I'm thinking I just went a little bit over time, so I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. Sail-safe, I'm sorry, the sail-safe program. You'll see there's a link at the bottom or a URL, oceanacruises.com/health. And it's all about what cruising is supposed to be according to the CDC. All righty, so it's a fluid situation. Things are changing every single day, which is why we don't want to talk about it too much in any given presentation. But we are here to answer your questions, talk to your advisor. If there's some questions later on this evening, we can answer those as well. But just keep in mind, everything is changing day by day, but we're really making sure that the safety and health of the guests and our onboard team is paramount. So there's something else that a lot of you guys want to know about, and that's our company's solvency. How solid are you? And way back in May of last year, it's over a year ago now, my company, which is run by bankers, they're really smart people, they knew that we had to raise some extra funds. So because we're publicly traded, Norwegian is our parent company, Regent Seven Seas is our sister company, and we have been sisters with Regent. My gosh, it's probably something like 13 years. And we were purchased by Norwegian only, in 2014. But we knew to raise some extra capital, and that is public information. If you want, just go to any one of our sister brands' websites to take a look at what it says. And we even raised a little bit more money throughout the year of 2020, a year that I think really didn't exist for us in the cruise industry or the travel business. But we did raise enough funds that have kept us literally and figuratively afloat. So there's no need to have any worries about the solid financial background of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings and Oceania Cruises. So these are our three pillars of distinction. These are the things that we are known for and have been known for since we went into business way back in 2003. These are small ships. We are extremely luxurious. We don't consider ourselves a luxury brand, but we are luxurious. And I have to tell you, most travel professionals put us in the luxury category because of the exquisite cuisine, the beautiful residential ships, and the impeccable itineraries. And again, if these are smaller ships, you're getting into some of those boutique ports. So you're getting a curated itinerary. Our executives really do sit down and pore over the map. We even ask for suggestions from travel agencies to say, where have we not been yet? And we change our itineraries as much as we can year over year. So you're not repeating the same Mediterranean cruise or the same Alaskan itineraries. And of course, center of your screen, cuisine, it's all about the dining experience. And I've always said, if you've been to a wedding where the food wasn't good, that's all you remember. You may not recall what wonderful experience you had talking to the bride or the groom, but you always remember the food service. And you also remember how you are treated. We've got some great videos on YouTube if you want to take a look, and one of them is called A Passion for Service. And we do get to hear from the onboard team, and everybody says, yes, we want to treat our guests like family, because you will leave that cruise line knowing you had a delightful food experience, but you also were treated every time as if you were being welcomed back home every time you came home to the ship from a shore excursion. So again, small ship, luxury. We have two different classes of ships at this time. And yes, in 2023, we will have a third. The smaller ships, which are the former Renaissance ships, and a lot of you guys that are AAA club members may remember Renaissance. These were built as very boutique-like ships. I call Regatta, Nautica, Insignia, and Sirena jewel boxes. They're beautiful. They hold only 684 guests, and there's 400 crew. Think about that. The guest to staff ratio is extremely high. So you will always have someone there to help serve and to take care of any one of your wishes or desires, whether it has something to do with cuisine, your suite, your stateroom, concierge services, etc. All righty. And again, it's only the 4 ships that are the ARC class or Regatta class. Then there's Oceania class or O class, and that's Marina and Riviera. We built these ships in 2011 and 2012. At maximum guest capacity, there's 1,250 guests, and there's 800 crew. And I can tell you, just to talk a little bit about cuisine yet again, most of the staff on board are dedicated to the culinary program. So we have galleys for every restaurant, and that means your food will be served deliciously and expeditiously. You're not going to have to wait on your meal, and it will never be served at any other temperature than what the chef wanted. We're not doing food service where there's shelves and shelves of food waiting in the kitchen to be ordered. Everything is done a la minute, which means to your order. Now, we talked about the size of the ship, saying that these are smaller vessels, and I'm sure a lot of you have sailed with some of the bigger competitors. And when I say bigger, I don't necessarily mean better, I mean larger in tonnage. So this just gives you a little bit of a clue, but I'll give you some more specifics. Our closest competitors are Celebrity and Holland America. And there's one other thing to keep in mind while you're looking at these statistics about tonnage and guest capacity. These other two lines do cater to children and families all year long. We right now do not have a children's program on any of our ships. In the past, only in Alaska and only on select sailings have we had certified camp counselors, children's programs where the kids are segmented into two different age groups. So for those of you who have children or grandchildren and you want to take a more adult-like experience and leave the kids and the grandkids at home, this is another option for you. Not only is it because they're smaller ships, and in light of everything we've been enduring in this last 15 months or so, you may want to move away from the larger tonnage, the larger guest capacity, and come to a smaller cruise ship size and experience. So there's no waiting online for restaurants, no waiting to board and disembark. It's a really lovely experience. I've sailed many times with Oceania over the 17 plus years that I'm with the company. And I did mention earlier that our interiors are absolutely stunning. They're really meant to look like a beautiful home or a nicer hotel, not necessarily to look like another cruise ship. And we did bring on for Marina and Riviera a younger set of designers, and everything is done in these lighter colors. So we have taken the older ships and did a huge facelift. It was $150 million to give a transformation, or what we were calling a re-inspiration of the smaller vessels. But you'll still find beautiful artwork, some antique artwork and sculptures, beautiful prints, both modern, contemporary, and antique. There's Italian chandeliers, beautiful crystal, whether it's Murano or just an Italian factory that has made these beautiful chandeliers. On our newer ships, there's Lalique crystal, and so on and so on. At the bottom of the screen on your right-hand side is the owner's suite, which looks like a beautiful apartment, whether it's in any big city around the world, and it's all done in Ralph Lauren home furnishings. Those suites are from 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. But our balconies are on average 288 square feet. If you do a comparison to our closest competitors, their same category is smaller. Alrighty. There's something else that we've done on our ships fleet-wide, and our owners love shopping. And I've gone on some of these shopping trips with one of the owners. I mean, now we're publicly traded, so the owner is now on the board. But I have been invited to go along shopping for artwork, whether it was in New York City, where I live, or in Florida, where the executives live. And there is a beautiful art collection throughout the ships. There's even a hardcover book that we've published with all the artwork. Some of it is from Cuban artists, and that would be in our private dining room called Privé on Marina or on Riviera, and other types of artwork that may not be your taste or my taste, but you can go to the front desk, and just like you do at a big museum in your hometown or when you're on vacation, they'll give you the headset, and you could walk around the ship and find out more about the artist and about the piece of work that you're looking at. On the bottom left-hand side is Willard Andre. He's one of our artists in residence, and our chairman discovered him in Wynwood in Miami. And there's another artist, I believe also lives in Florida. I cannot think of his name offhand. My friends were sailing in Norway and had dinner with Andre Willard, the fellow on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Our art classes are complimentary, and we have an art studio called the Artist's Loft, and that would be on Marina, Riviera, and even on the Insignia. And Insignia does the 6-month, 180-day world cruise. So you do want more activities. And again, all the art classes are complimentary. They run from 60 minutes to 90 minutes. But getting into private quarters, your guest room, there's all different types of accommodations. We still have built inside cabins because a lot of our guests want to experience the itinerary and the service and the cuisine, but they may not want to pay a little bit more to have a stateroom with a window. So we still have insides, but you're looking at the introductory butler suite, the penthouse suite on the left side of your screen. And this is 420 square feet on Marina and Riviera. On the smaller 4 ships, they're about 322 square feet. And again, you have a butler to do packing of your luggage, unpacking, make some added reservations for you, and dining in both on the ship, I should say, and also in port. Concierge level, category A is the top right-hand side. And there's a lot of extra perks that are similar to what you get with the butler suite. So there'll be champagne on arrival, cashmere lap blankets to use, and you get the access of to a concierge. And in fact, on Marina and Riviera, there's an executive lounge for the butler suite guests, and there's also a separate concierge lounge for the concierge guests. Now this is just on Marina and Riviera. On the art class ships, because these are smaller vessels, they were built without a special separate lounge area. But there's other beautiful spaces. You could do a lovely pub crawl throughout our ships. And there's either 6 dining opportunities on the smaller ships and 10 dining opportunities on the larger ships. There will be even more with Vista when she comes into service in 2023. And at the bottom right-hand side, you can see the marble and granite clad bathrooms. When we built Marina and Riviera, the guests were asking, and we wanted to talk to the guests, our loyal guests who've been with us over and over again throughout the years, what do you want out of the stateroom or the suites? They usually said more lighting, more windows, and you'll see on the left-hand side, there's not just sliding doors, there's also an extra window for more natural sunlight, but they also said we would like to have a shower separate from the tub, so we don't have to step up into the tub in order to take a shower. So when you go on to Marina and Riviera, you walk in and there's this beautiful vanity, and on your right-hand side is the shower stall, and on your left-hand side is the tub. So you can have simultaneous showering, if you will. All righty, let's keep moving on. We do have our own spa that we designed about, oh my gosh, it's actually in 2019. I keep saying 2020 did not exist. So in 2019, we launched Aquamar Spa and Vitality Center, and it's all about body, mind, and spirit wellness. You can get a typical deep tissue massage, a Swedish massage, stone therapy, or some other Asian type massage treatments, as well as complimentary yoga classes, complimentary Pilates. They also will have some lectures. They'll host their own shore excursions, and you're looking at a view of what the spa area looks like on Marina and Riviera. There's also a thalassotherapy pool. When you're in concierge level and above, you have complimentary access to this area of Aquamar Spa. I'm usually in there getting my hair blown out because if you could see me right now, my hair is very curly from all the humidity, and I like to have my hair straight at least a couple of days. And they do have a wonderful team on board for manicures, pedicures. They even have men's services separately offered as well. So there's all different types of shore excursions. As I mentioned, when you're in Malaga, you might want to take part in the royal treatment. So lots of different types of shore excursions, which we're also going to talk about shortly. Just bear in mind that the service level is impeccable. You're not just going to have a butler when you're in the top suites, but you're also going to have a stateroom attendant. And usually the stateroom attendant has an assistant. So there's always 2 or 3 people making sure that your stateroom or suite is beautifully prepared, both in the morning while you're having breakfast and while you're at dinner in the evening. Alrighty, and every afternoon you'll see in the bottom right-hand side of your screen in Horizons Lounge, there is white glove treatment afternoon tea. This is where you always get in trouble. And my husband and I used to say, no, we don't want to go again because you're having 4 o'clock afternoon tea with scones and clotted cream and finger sandwiches and little light desserts. And then you might be having dinner at 7 p.m. But it's a beautiful experience. We always have live music on our ships throughout the ships. So when there's afternoon tea, there's usually a trio or a quartet. Before dinner in the evening, there is a string quartet, and they're beautiful. They're usually beautiful musicians. I've noticed that a lot of our strings are Polish women, just gorgeous blonde ladies. I have noticed some men are sprinkled in depending on which cruise I'm on. But we do have an orchestra that we do break up into trios and quartets. So there's always an opportunity to hear live music. Of course, we also have in Horizon Lounge, that same area where you're seeing the afternoon tea cart. They'll have disco at night, 50s dance music, karaoke nights. There's different types of themes. They may bring in a local band that you'll only see for a few hours or a couple of days, and then they swap out and go back to the regular in-residence orchestra. And they're really great people. I've spoken to our musicians quite a bit over the years. So we have to talk about food. In fact, I could probably do an entire half an hour just on our ingredients, on our Michelin star quality galleys and all the equipment that we've got. We import from Italy gelato makers. Oh my gosh, like I said, I could spend so much time talking about cuisine. And I do believe we have some like brief little videos that are embedded into this, but our onboard culinary team has been sourced from some of the best restaurants around the world, and they're all under the leadership of the gentleman on the top right-hand side. He is the elder statesman of the culinary world, and it's Master Chef Jacques Pepin. He has been with us since we opened this company back in 2002. Regatta went into service in July of 03, if I remember correctly. And so he oversees some of our wine selections along with Wine Spectator magazine, but he also oversees some of our menus. He sails with us once a year. So last year was the first time he missed since 2003. And he will usually host on Marina and Riviera because there's two, I should say there are two separate cooking schools, one on Marina and one on Riviera. And he will be available for cooking classes and demonstrations and book signings. He even goes on the shore excursions. He'll host a shore excursion or two. His daughter, Claudine, is a chef in her own right. She co-hosted with him on PBS. And she is the godmother to the Sirena. So she hosts a cruise every year on Sirena. It's spelled like Serena. And he hosts, like I said earlier, on Marina or Riviera. And we are so fortunate to have him because he is probably one of the best known elders in the culinary world. When I say elder, I mean that with the utmost respect. We have all of these wonderful open seating dining rooms. On the bottom right, you're looking at these heavy Italian leather chairs on Regatta, Insignia, Nautica, and Sirena. And this is in the steakhouse. It's Polo Grill. And this is where we would serve, if you're so inclined to enjoy, a 32-ounce in-cut, 28-day, dry-aged, bone-in prime rib. My husband had it on his birthday in 2014. He took a picture before and after. He cleaned the plate. And I always like to say that he did have the meat sweats all night long because it takes a lot to digest all of that. Now, here you're getting to see our chefs who work on board going into marketplace and getting provisions locally. Most of our ingredients are sourced locally, so they're always out there in the morning shopping as soon as the ship goes into port. There are a few things we bring from the United States or ship ahead, but bear in mind we have a sustainable seafood program. We have vegan options for those who have celiac disease. We have gluten-free. If you're kosher, we do have kosher programs. If it's a kosher group, we can turn the kitchen or one of the galleys over to, I believe it's called the meshkiach. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. We have all different types of choices. You tell your travel advisor, we'll put it into the record. If you prefer to have a certain type of a diet, if there's certain ingredients that you are allergic to, please let us know in advance. It's just marvelous. I have to say my assistant, who is a beef eater, always would have the vegan option when we had luncheons on board in New York and in Miami when the ship is just in port for us for an afternoon to show the ship off to our travel professionals. And I don't eat anything along the lines of chicken, beef, or meat. My husband's the meat eater, or was the meat eater. But I would always go for the seafood or the vegan options. I gotta say, even vegetarian, it's delicious. But take a look at that picture on the lower right-hand side. That is the miso glazed sea bass. It has this succulent, sweet flavor. It's wrapped in a leaf with a little clothespin. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a bite of food you will never forget. When I'm on Riviera and Marina, I will order it as both my appetizer and as my entree because it's that delicious. And anyone I say this to that decides to order it says, Terry, you are not lying. It is just delightfully delicious. And I swear you'll never forget how delicious it truly is. It's so moist and succulent. It has that wonderful flavor. And I hope I am making you hungry. Lots of different ingredients that because of Jacques Pepin, we import. We import several different types of flours for our breads. So we're the only cruise line to serve a genuine French baguette. And it is called a Viron flour from the Beauce region of France. For our croissant, we bring in flour from the western region of France. It's a planchon flour. We only use Valrhona chocolate. We only use Normandy butter. And it's all USDA grade A beef because there were some issues about 10 years ago with beef coming from certain parts of the UK. So we are very, very careful about what we're serving our guests. In fact, I have to tell you, if you're a vegan, PETA, which is a really strict, almost militant group of not even vegetarians, I'm the vegetarian, they're vegans, they're very strict, gave us an award saying we had the best and most diverse vegan options of any cruise line. So we're very proud to have that because we do serve veal and we do serve lobster, and we were surprised they gave us this wonderful accolade. So keep that in mind. Always leave room for dessert because our desserts are absolutely out of this world. And you can order 2 or 3 if you would like. That does happen from time to time. Every dining room has its own china pattern. In the Italian dining room, it's Versace china. In Jacques' dining room, called the Bistro, he has designed his own plates, if you will, because he is an artist in his own right. Red Ginger, you can see there's these beautiful red speckled dishes, different artwork in all of the restaurants. That's the grand dining room on your top left, and a beautiful chandelier that they put in. It was so beautiful, but such a little bit too large. They had to raise the chandelier when we did the re-inspiration in 2019. And there's a lot of places to dine al fresco, especially the Terrace Cafe, where we have a grill. Lunchtime and dinner, there's grilled steaks and there's grilled lobster. There's always local foods, a lot of seafood and a carving board, and there's even an area for smoothies and shakes and floats and an ice cream cart. So a lot of places to get yourself in trouble, but keep in mind, there's also spa cuisine. And the spa cuisine with Aquamar will tell you calories, fat grams, carbs, protein. So you can be responsible on certain days, and on other days, go for the gusto and enjoy. Have that 32-ounce king cut, 28-day dry age bone and prime rib. But I mentioned earlier that we have a relationship with Dom Perignon and Wine Spectator magazine. We have a beautiful dining room called, La Reserve by Wine Spectator. And you're looking at it on the right-hand side. It seats only 24. I think moving forward, they may space it out a little bit more, although we're realizing that with everybody being vaccinated, et cetera, we could probably fill the room to 24. And sometimes we open up the sliding doors to the outer deck to get fresh air and more circulation. I've dined here twice. There is a fee because it's either a 7-course wine pairing dinner or it's a 6-course Dom Perignon champagne pairing dinner. I haven't done the champagne pairing yet because that also started, I believe, in 2019, and I hadn't had a chance to sail. I was supposed to be cruising in March of 20 when the whole world kind of shut down. So we have great relationships with the culinary world. It's not just Jacques, it's Dom Perignon and also Wine Spectator. In fact, Bon Appetit magazine designed what you're looking at right now, and it's the Culinary Center. The first cooking school at sea was on Marina, has 24 induction cooktops. So heaven forbid anybody touch the cooktop, you're not going to get burned. It cooks food, but it does not get hot to the touch. You're looking at Chef Kathy Kelly, who's the instructor. She was hand selected by Bon Appetit magazine in 2010, got on board the Marina in 2011 when we had her inaugural. She was only supposed to be on contract for 3 months. She's still with us now in 2021. She's Director of Culinary Enrichment, and it all happened because our guests would follow her into port. And they would say, "Where are you going today, Chef Kelly? We don't have any plans. We didn't book a shore excursion. We've been here before. We just want to take a walk. Can we go with you and tag along?" And she realized a lot of guests were doing this. So now there's a lot of different types of shore excursions that have a culinary focus. And it's not just on the 2 ships, Marina and Riviera, that have these cooking schools. It's also on the other 4 ships. So they'll do culinary shore excursions. And what you would do is maybe go into port, go to a private house, a farm, a villa, and there will be some sort of a cooking demonstration. Then you go to the marketplace, for example, like in Barcelona, as they pronounce it, Barcelona, and you'll go shopping for some of the provisions, the ingredients, and then the chef instructor brings you back to the ship. You put on a toque or a hat and the apron, and you start cooking. So it could be a full day. There's also classes that are only 60 minutes or 90 minutes. There is a charge, and it runs about $69 and up, depending on how many hours you're spending with the chef instructor. If you are in the culinary world, talk to your AAA advisor, and we could get this room for you as part of your group experience. It would be a private dining, I should say private cooking experience for maybe a chef that you know, a cooking instructor that you know. Maybe you're a really good cook and you would want to share all your ideas with your friends and family and your Facebook connections. So talk to your AAA advisor and we can help put you into that kitchen with a private group, and we'll give you a sous chef to do all of the mise en place. And that means we're going to prepare everything for you, get everything chopped up, so you don't have to do any chopping. But there's lots of culinary shore excursions, as I mentioned earlier, how to prepare a wonderful French buffet or a Chinese banquet, all different types of things, because remember, we visit the whole world, so we're going to be doing different types of menus and instructional courses depending on where we are in the world. And where are we in the world? Well, you know, we have to use the term curate, because what we've been doing is looking at the globe and seeing where can the bigger ships not get into, and that's where we can get in. And sometimes we don't tender. If you're a veteran cruiser, you know what tendering means. It means you have to now switch from the big ship to a smaller boat, and then you transfer into the island, because the island or that little port cannot handle such a big ship. And again, our ships are smaller themselves, but even some of the smaller ports like in Monemvasia, Greece, you will tender. But we don't tender too frequently because our ships are of a really good tonnage, a really good size. And we do the entire world. We do the Black Sea, the Baltics, British Isles, the Greek islands, South America, Amazon River, Asia, South Pacific. We do some islands in Hawaii, as well as going off to the Caribbean islands. And you can just take a look at all of this and know that we do the entire world. And I believe we're going back to Antarctica on our world cruise for 2023. All righty, because we had done a little suspension on that. But like I said, every so many years, we want to change it up. The Australia-New Zealand itineraries are beautiful. We're hoping that Australia will open up soon. We don't have any announcements yet to make on that. You know, just like the current administration has been working with the Jones Act, so we can, our parent company can do some Alaskan sailings, but we're not doing Alaska this year ourselves. Oceania Cruises will not call in Alaska this summer. But there is that world cruise, 180 days. There are plenty of voyages that are only 7 days. Some are 10, 12. There's even grand voyages, which are from 28 days to 76 days. So we've got a lot of different opportunities for you, a lot of different price points. And like I said earlier, we're going to some of the more marquee ports. Those are the smaller ones, like Cinque Terre, where you do these wonderful hikes through these 5 different towns. You can only maybe hike 1 or 2 if you would like. You can take a shore excursion with us or do it independently. I was very fortunate to travel with the president of the company. My husband and I joined him, and he told us where we were going to go hiking in this beautiful port city. I mean, just look at those colors. It was just outstanding, and we just stopped to get a very light bite to eat because the food is so great on the ship. We don't want to spend too much time or money eating in port. And again, we do a lot of different wonderful excursions, but the ones that are really the most unique are go local. Go local means you're possibly going into the home of someone in Cairo or someone's home in Buenos Aires. You may see somebody in the front yard of their home. They're going to have food and drink for you, and they're going to teach you some local songs. They're going to play guitar, teach you some dance steps. There's also in Greece, I believe, where they take you to see the beekeeper and how the bees make honey, and then you get to take home a jar of some of that honey that you have turned into a cream for your skin. So there's a lot of wonderful things. And don't forget going to Tuscany in Italy, where you get to walk around with the dogs that are sniffing out the truffles, those wonderful little exquisite and very expensive bites of food, truffles. So there's really all these different types of shore excursions. I'll have a slide in a second to do a summary. But if you're also going to someplace like the eastern part of South America, Rio to Buenos Aires or the reverse, you have an opportunity to leave the ship to go to Iguazu Falls. So we'll have these overland trips where you're in a hotel for maybe 3 days, alrighty? Or if you're in sailing the southern part of Africa, meaning South Africa, and you're wanting to do a safari in Durban, these are usually 16-day trips, and it's a Cape Town round trip. They're wonderful, but you don't want to just, get in and out of these ports. You really want to do an overland trip and get to see the animals in one of the safari parks, just like you want to see Angkor Wat when you go to Cambodia. So you're leaving the ship for a couple of days, or sometimes it's pre-cruise or post. So this is a little wrap up of all the different types of shore excursions. So for those folks who think, I've done a cruise, I don't want to do it, there's not enough time in port, not true, because we do longer days in port. We sometimes get in at 8 in the morning and we don't leave until midnight. Sometimes we're in port for 3 days, 2 nights. For example, St. Petersburg, Russia, or Buenos Aires, or Hong Kong. If it's not 3 days, 2 nights, it's 2 days, 1 night. So we want you to really use the ship as a floating hotel. So you've got your foodie shore excursions, those intimate ones where you're in someone's home, Aquamar Vitality Centers, wellness tours, and so on and so on. I don't want to keep reading slides because I'm not a slide reader. I like to add to what you're going to learn. So let's talk about what even Cruise Critic says is one of the best values of any luxurious cruise experience out there. We have a lot of inclusive features, such as free Wi-Fi. It's unlimited time on one device. So if you're a couple, we encourage you to use just one tablet or one phone. We never charge for the specialty restaurants. The super extra special restaurant is La Reserve by Wine Spectator. But again, you're paying for the wine and champagne pairings. We're one of the few cruise lines that's still doing 24-hour complimentary room service, and we've gotten awards on our room service. It's not just burgers, grilled cheese, and tuna sandwiches. It's a really lovely menu. We also offer complimentary shuttle service. If you've been to a port, like I mentioned earlier, maybe you don't want to do that shore excursion. Instead of following the chef around, there will be complimentary bus shuttles from the ship into town and back again. And they'll tell you the scheduling. It's on your notes when you're going into your stateroom in the evening. You get to take that with you the next day when you're in port. There's also a sign, a little marquee that tells you when the bus will leave from that particular point where you just were dropped off. I just mentioned yoga and Pilates are complimentary. All of our non-alcoholic beverages are included. So you're not paying for bottled water or sodas and soft drinks. You're not paying for juices or cappuccino. We even do a granita, which is like a frozen coffee. It's like a frappuccino, if you will. And our laundry service is free, but you're doing the laundry yourself. So I'm going to add in a little bit extra here. When you're in concierge, category A and above, you'll get 3 bags of laundry that the team will do for you because you're on vacation. You shouldn't be going to do laundry. You may want to pack less because it's easier to get through the airports these days. So if you're in category A and above, 3 bags of laundry will be washed, dried, and folded. If you're in an owner's suite, it's washed, dried, pressed, and folded. On the World Cruise, by the way, just to throw it out there, medical services on board are included and always have been since we've been doing the World Cruises for the last so many years, and also free laundry service. So it's a really great perk for those of you on a 180-day sailing. You need to know about O-Life Choice because we're going to talk about your AAA special member benefit in a moment. O-Life Choice gives you round trip air, and if you don't want our air because you have mileage, we'll do a price reduction on the cruise. But you get to choose one of 3 options, either shore excursions or a beverage package. We do not include alcohol. There are plenty of opportunities for a complimentary cocktail here and there, but you get to choose free beverages, and that's a $39.95 value. That's per person per day. And then there's shipboard credit. So let's be more specific. On a 10-day cruise, as an example, I would pick the shipboard credits, and that's $600 per couple. Alrighty, again, the beverage package is just under $40 per person per day, and that's for beer and wine and champagne by the glass with meals. Whether it's a lunch, dinner, or room service lunch and dinner, that is the program called House Select Beverage Program. If you like to drink a little bit more than me, once you're on board, there's an uptick of only an extra $20 per person per day, and that's Prestige Select, which is open bar, top shelf, all day long. So you can do mimosas or Bloody Marys in the morning. You can do an aperitif before dinner. You can do champagne after dinner. It's still by the glass, so keep that in mind. But Prestige Select is pretty good because it is top shelf and it's 24 hours a day. So today is exclusive because you are here as a club member. You're attending through this exclusive event with AAA Western and Central. There is that member benefit. So I'll show you a little bit more specifics here. And there's 2 different benefits. Your advisor does have a list of all the different sailings. And the vacation benefit is prepaid gratuities. Now, if you remember, I said on a 10-day cruise, you would get $600 in shipboard credit. If you get prepaid gratuities included on a 10-day cruise, that's $320. So that's a $920 benefit you're not going to get from any other agency. And then there's even a wine tasting where it's wine with some past foods as well. If you choose a sailing that just has the AAA member benefit, there's a $200 shipboard credit. That's per couple or per booking. Alrighty. So I hope that's relatively clear. So let's go back to dreaming. What do you remember about your most favorite vacation experience with Oceania or otherwise? I know I remember being in Malaysia, and as we were sailing past this particular area with a farmhouse, a woman who was wearing a sari or a gown similar to what this lovely lady is wearing also had a little child by her hip. The little girl must have been about 3 years old, and they were throwing us kisses. My husband and I never took out the camera, but we always remembered that moment. There are all of these beautiful, unique memories that you will carry with you, and I hope that you will remember a future with us at Oceania Cruises. So Jacques Pepin and I, you get to see me just for a little bit right now. That's 2007, so that's a while ago. Get to say thank you, and I'm sure that Brian and his teammates are wishing you a thank you as well. And if there's any questions, I'm going to turn it over to Brian.
Terry, thank you so much. What a great presentation. I am so excited that we're all getting back to traveling, and you know, you focused a lot on the food, and that is always such a wonderful, wonderful part of traveling. So thank you for all of that. Can you, you talked about the different dining rooms and the different venues and opportunities. Are reservations required for dinner? Do you take reservations, or is it open seating?
Great question. It is open dining throughout our ships, but we definitely and strongly recommend that with your travel advisor, you select the time that you want to dine in the specialty dining rooms. Because, for example, on Marina and Riviera, there's Jacques Bistro, that's for French cuisine. There's the Steakhouse Polo Grill. Then there's Red Ginger, the Asian fusion, which I love, that miso glazed sea bass. And then there's also Toscana, the Italian dining room. These dining rooms seat anywhere from, 96 to 120 guests. So it is to your benefit to please, even though there's no extra charge, reserve in advance, and you have the opportunity to book that dining depending on your stateroom or suite category. So for the folks in the owner's suite, the privilege is, because they're in the biggest stateroom or suites fleet-wide, they get to place their dining reservation as soon as they do their final payment, and then it trickles down through the other categories. And I believe for those who are in an inside category, you get to do your booking about 2 months prior. So yes, we do highly encourage, but there is an open dining room, the grand dining room. And that's where you're going to do a lot of dining also. So reservations are not required, neither in Terrace Cafe, which is our beautiful buffet restaurant. And it is a beautiful buffet restaurant fleet-wide. These are not just cafeterias. They're really very, very pretty, very lovely. And it's also part of the alfresco dining area fleet-wide.
Terrific. Yes, thank you on that. And you had touched a little bit about, we encourage, depending on when travel is, pre and post stays to enjoy the experience, make the most of it. I would suspect, and a question came in, pre and post cruise stays are pretty much offered on virtual every type of itinerary, correct?
Correct. I'm sorry, I just skipped over to the wrong slide. In fact, repeat that question again, because my computer just did get a little wonky because we have that electrical storm here.
That's okay. Pre and post stays available just about on every cruise itinerary, correct?
Definitely, definitely. I always tell my travel advisors to work with your favorite reservation agent. We call them cruise specialists because they're really so good at their job. And yes, a lot of the information is available online, but you really would like to work with one of our reservation agents to make sure you're getting your pre and post booked correctly and completely.
Terrific. And I think a last one was starting sailing. You talked about all the places you go. I think is at the end of August that you're going to begin sailing.
You are correct. Marina will sail the Baltics, Copenhagen to Stockholm on August 29th. We are so excited. You could hear our sales team cheering around the country when the announcement was made recently. And she will do a couple of other Baltic sailings as well as Mediterranean. Your advisors can access it on our website. Of course, clients and gas club members can access it on our website also, but I encourage you to work with your AAA travel advisor. Yeah, we're hoping that we get to see lots of you on board again soon, and we're stoked that we're going back into service the end of August.
Well, we're delighted. You painted a beautiful picture. I've had many repeat clients. They've sailed Oceania for a first time and they won't go anywhere else. So I personally haven't had the experience yet, but I am looking forward to it. Terry, thank you again. Thank you to all our participants tonight. If we missed any questions, feel free to reach out to one of our AAA travel advisors, and we'll see you all on the high seas. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Brian. Good night, everyone. Stay healthy.